You may have seen him on the streets of Singapore. You may have even pointed or stared. But don't sell 20-year-old Lee Tsen short. At 1.25 meters tall, the undergraduate may view the world from a different perspective to people his age. But he says he shares more in common with everyone else than not.
I may be shorter than the rest, but I do day-to-day activities similar to everyone. I go to school, I do other things also. And at the heart of it is that we all have the human spirit in us. So it's that no matter what challenges they may face, how similar or how different from me, I think we'll be able to overcome it eventually.
Tsen was born with achondroplasia, a form of short-limbed dwarfism. Having stood out for most of his life, he knows what it means to deal with stigma and prejudice. That's why he's joined 47 other participants at a new project called the Human Library SG. The first session was held on 30th October in Singapore, which saw some 400 readers joining in conversations led by a plethora of individuals with varied identities.
You know what they say about judging a book by its cover? Don't. And that's literally true when it comes to Singapore's largest human library event, where the idea is to flip the page on badly written stereotypes and to encourage conversations on anything from pole dancing to dwarfism to suicide. And while nothing beats immersing yourself in the world of fictional characters, having a conversation with real-life people with fantastic stories to share comes pretty close.
The idea for the Human Library originated in Denmark 16 years ago. It's since grown into a global social movement, with similar events being held around the world, including in Asia, such as the Philippines, South Korea and Thailand.
Instead of borrowing books, you borrow real people to talk to. And the objective is to provide a safe platform for people with different kinds of experiences, especially those involving stereotypes and prejudices, to share their stories and for the readers to ask questions.
Kelly's one of 4 millennials who spearheaded the project. The 26-year-old was first introduced to the concept last year when she attended a similar event at the Singapore Management University.
The different books have labels, obviously, and short descriptions of who they are and what makes them stand out. Do you think these labels actually contribute to stereotypes?
It's a very natural thing for us to do, to form stereotypes about other people. So what we hope to do through Human Library is to challenge these labels. We want the conversation to be as organic as possible. And also, no matter what the outcome is, whether the stereotypes are reinforced or challenged, at least these readers will be able to put individual stories behind a particular label that they might have.
Fellow organizer, 29-year-old Ajit Isaac, posits that labels can serve to empower some people.
I definitely think that each individual should be free to choose the labels that they want to associate with. It's not, and it forms a part of our identity. And I don't think that we need to shun them away. It's just that we shouldn't have to be associated with labels we don't want to be associated with.
Labels like suicide attempt survivor or person with bipolar disorder or former gangster. Whether these conjure positive or negative images, one lady is keen to upend the stereotypes that come attached to the tag Muslim woman.
The media likes to portray Muslim women as a cookie-cutter kind of image, we're oppressed, we don't get a say in certain things. But if anything, with social media and with a lot of things, there is a counter-narrative to that. And I want to be part of that counter-narrative to say that, you can't decide who I am, I get to decide who I am as well.
And one way 25-year-old teacher Atika reclaims her identity as a Muslim woman is through her blog, The Tudung Traveller. The title itself could be misconstrued as something of an oxymoron. Here's a Muslim woman who not only wears a tudung or hijab, the headscarf many have bemoaned as a form of shackling a women's freedoms, but who, wait for it, has backpacked alone to more than 40 cities around the world.
My dad firmly believes in not clipping my wings. He's like, the world is your stage. Go and do what you need to do as long as you know how to act, how to carry yourself. But I do understand that, there are certain areas where they're still very patriarchal, where the women don't really have much of a say.
What's the most violent reaction you've ever had?
This old man just came up to me and came up to my face and started scolding me with like wagging a finger in my face, and I have no idea what he said because he was talking in Spanish, but he was gesturing to my hijab and be like, take it off, you know. And I remember being like taken aback because, you know, I thought he was a kindly old man when he started scolding me. But I remember telling myself that, you know, in this moment I cannot control what this man is doing, but I can control my reaction. So I just kept smiling at him and like nodding my head and like walking away.
It's also at the Human Library that you would have had the chance to speak with 25-year-old Sherry Shakesha. As a former sex worker, Sherry has encountered her fair share of discrimination.
The negative perception is that people think sex workers are an easy way out. They didn't put in effort to get employed in other industries, but as they didn't know the reason why people do sex work.
Sherry wants people to accept her for who she is and not judge her by her appearance and her past. She's come a long way in her young life, now working with Project X, offering advice and guidance to individuals like her.
People think that I'm a sex worker, people think that I brought shame to my family, but I'm not. And with my success, my achievement now, especially being part of this program.
It's through these stories of courage that the Human Library may do well to help break down the walls of ignorance. Tsen's own journey can be a source of inspiration, an example of our shared humanity.
I've gotten used to people staring at me, people viewing me in a different way. And I realized that actually my difference doesn't make me more worse off than anyone else. Yeah, because it gives me a very different set of values and perspectives from other people. Yeah, I'm able to empathize, let's say, with other people with disabilities or special conditions, you know, understand the resilience and how they go through it.
Whatever readers take away from their experience at the Human Library, stereotypes are unlikely to disappear anytime soon. More pertinent is that the dialogues to dispel them have been ignited, and if fueled, could spread to cafes and dining rooms, around the water cooler and onto our streets. So the next time you see Tsen in your neck of the woods, don't point or stare. Say hello and start a conversation.